Wait, have you ever had a dream or passion in your heart that you just can't seem to materialize? Maybe it seems like a challenge to make actionable steps that lead towards it. The truth is, as a first year university student, I've been feeling that way too, but this YouTube video is going to be my first step, so I'm encouraging you to take your first step. Whether that's talking to someone you've liked for a while now, or just making a new friend, or joining a new club, I think you should go for it. And I'll tell you why. First of all, life is way too short. Listen, the average person lives for what, 80 years? And now university, I'm assuming you're a university student like me, goes through university for typically 4 years. So that is going to be 20% of your life, which, sorry, not 20% of your life. Sorry, I meant 1 out of 20th of your life, so 5%. While that might not seem like a very large percentage, here's the thing. Imagine your life divided into 20 sections, right? And that one thing that you do in chapter 1 will lead to something in chapter 2. Something that you did in chapter 2 might be connected to something you do in chapter 36. Everything is connected, and depending on what you do in the earliest chapters, that ends up influencing the later chapters. What I'm trying to say is that whatever your dream might be right now, if you can just get a tiny step right now, that can eventually accumulate into something real, and that will be useful to you in the future. Now I'm going to address the second question. How do you make actionable steps? Perhaps you do want to make a friend. Perhaps you do want to, I don't know, ask your crush out, but that seems like a far away dream, right? How do you get to do that? Well, in order to make that not seem like such a distant idea, you want to make sure you break everything into small steps, right? So that it seems more realistic. You know what they say, man? Rome wasn't built in a day. But just to keep it real with you guys, I'm going to tell you one passion I have in my heart right now, and I'm going to build steps to do that with you guys and just kind of show you what I have as a sample. So here's one idea I have. So I'm someone who's really interested in photography, and for a while now I've wanted to have a small photo shoot business of my own, you know, being able to take photos of others on campus and being able to generate a profit out of that. That's something that I've wanted to do right now to kind of train my entrepreneurial mindset and also just, you know, explore my hobby a bit more and hopefully get something more out of that. So here's what I have. It's a bit vague because I like to be a bit more spontaneous and kind of go as the ball is rolling, if that makes sense. But here's what I have so far. For week 1, as in this week, I'm going to continue solidifying the concept. I'm going to come up with a name for my business. I'm going to maybe think of some potential people who might be interested in having a photo shoot, thinking of the structure, how might that work? You know, would I take cash? Would I take e-transfer? Would it be, you know, they pay upfront before the photo shoot, all those small little nitty-picky details, and overall just making like some sort of charter. And for the week 2, which is I assume next week, I'm going to be getting into deeper brainstorming, so actually setting up potentially social media for that, you know, talking to my friends and seeing if they might have anyone who they know to photo shoot, and maybe just getting some sample photos. And for week 3, sorry, it says post winter break because I just realized that it's almost winter break in like 3 days for me. So everything on here is going to be after winter break. So yeah, for week 3, after I come back winter break, I think I'm going to try to get the ball rolling and actually start shooting, whether that's for my samples or real people. But my idea is just going to be asking around on campus, maybe filming TikToks, going like, hey, would you want a photo shoot right now? And then, you know, taking photos. But that's just my idea. And something else I want to address is that I know you might feel that way too, but right now I'm obviously feeling very scared, very nervous about actually putting this into action, because it's one thing to think about all this, it's another to make it actually happen. I don't even know what I'm afraid of, but one thing I do know is that I do want this bad, and I think that if I'm able to really have something that I can say I genuinely coordinated by myself and that I did that out of my willpower, I know that I definitely would not regret it, and I'd be very proud of myself no matter the outcome. So let's shift the chair back to you. Sorry, I just made up that metaphor, but let's shift the topic back to you. So whether you want to, I don't know, ask someone out, whether you have some sort of also business idea in mind, or whether you just want to make a new friend, I think the best time would be now. For example, let's say there's someone who sits near you in class who has some sort of keychain that really resonates with you, and you've been wanting to make friends with them for a while now. So maybe that first step can just be deciding to sit closer to them in your next class. It can be maybe having extra pens ready if they don't have pens, or maybe even asking for a pen from them, if you're more strategic like that. And while these might seem like very minuscule steps, I like to use an analogy where, exponents always get exponentially bigger, right? I meant numbers that are to the power of another number are like they get exponentially bigger, right? Like exponential growth. Like, for example, this goes back to what I was talking about before, but if you do one small thing today and that habit continues to grow, then you can build a lifestyle. And all of these small things, they eventually accumulate into a much larger picture. So even though these steps are minuscule, you want to remind yourself to see the big picture while you're doing all those small steps, and just reminding yourself of the overall path. So with all that being said, let's make a pact right now. I'm going to go ahead and try out my business idea of my photo shoot venture or whatever, and I want you to go ahead and do what you've been meaning to do for a while now. And I don't know, hopefully my thing works, and I'll keep you updated if it does, and I hope your thing works too. Keep me updated. Obviously, best of luck to you, and best of luck to me, man. Peace and love.